There are two important things that are going to happen in the next few months. As you may have heard through the news, we are going to start the voter registration on the 3rd of July. For the first time in Fiji's history, every voter will be given a card. So when you go to register yourself, you take some identification, either your birth certificate or your FNPF card or your passport or your driver's license. When you go to the center, we'll be putting them everywhere. You'll give your ID, they will take your photograph, they will get your thumbprint, they'll put down the details, within 5 minutes you'll get a card. That card is all of you. When you stand up and you give your farm number, you'll all have a number for that too. So everybody will be identified. So we urge all of you to go and register to vote. We're starting on the 3rd of July, it'll be throughout Fiji. We hope to register all Fijians over the age of 18 years within 6 to 8 weeks. It's very important. I don't know how many of you know, but in the 2006 elections, the European Union had sent an observer group. And after the elections, they wrote a report. In that report, they found out there were many problems. There were 20,000 people whose names were put in incorrectly. In Vanuatu, there was a constituency that had a voter turnout of 101%. In other words, somebody voted more than once. Not somebody, but many people. So there was obviously fraud. What we don't want is in the next elections for that sort of thing to happen. This is why we have spent a lot of money to try and get it right. And we have to get it right. So when you go to vote in 2014, you'll take your card, they'll put it before the computer, your photograph will come up, your thumbprint will come up, and then you go and vote. So that's one thing. Number two, in July, the consultations will begin. As you know, the Prime Minister has announced a 5-member team. They will go around Fiji to get everybody's views. I urge you to go to these meetings. Please do not think that what you have to say is something very small. Please do not think that you can't speak. Just because you're a farmer or you're a laborer, whoever you are, you must go and speak. And you can talk about anything. You may say that, as I went on Talkback Radio some weeks ago, which that gentleman was referring to, somebody called up and they said, all I want in the Constitution is I want the Constitution to give me good roads, water and electricity. That is what he felt from his heart. Somebody rang up and said, these politicians, I vote for them, for 5 years they disappear. I want them to come and report to me every 3 months. Somebody rang up and said, all I want in the Constitution is I just want to be called a Fijian. Now, all these things can be put in the Constitution in legal terms. So the person who called up and said, I want road, water, electricity, in constitutional language, it means he wants rights, socio-economic rights. Like in South Africa, everybody has a right to basic health care. Everybody has a right to water. That's something we've never had in our Constitution. We can have that in our Constitution. So whatever you feel, the person who rang up and said, I want people to come and report to me every 3 months, he basically distrusts politicians. So how do we put that in constitutional speak? There's ways of putting that in. Many people, for example, have not thought about the fact that when we elect governments, we've always elected governments for 5 years in Fiji. But in Australia, they elect governments for 3 years. In America, they vote for them for 4 years. So we want you to think about these things. Anything you want. Go and say whatever you like. If you say that we don't think there's enough tractors for farmers, say it. This is your opportunity, whatever you want to say. So we urge all of you to participate in it. Because if everybody participates in it, then we will get a constitution that will reflect everybody's values and principles. And that's the way we can be a very strong nation. In the 1997 Constitution Review, there's very few people who went and gave submissions. Or some people thought that it was commoner people cannot go, it was only for Ratus. Some people thought it was only for politicians. Some women thought that women can't go. Everybody can go, and everybody can say whatever they like. That will happen in July, August and September. After that, they will go and write a draft constitution. They'll present it to a constituent assembly, and then we will have the final constitution next year, God willing.
Okay.
So just those 2 points, I'd like to urge you, and all of you need to participate in that. Naka, thank you.
Naka.